National anthem.
Representing the United States, representing everything that our country stands for, representing its people, its values, its ideas. It's a great honor.
Incredible honor it is to get an opportunity to represent your country. Can give you goosebumps.
Proud of the fact that every single time I gave it everything I had, I laid it all on the line.
The moment when you pull that shirt on, you walk out, you hear the national anthem. It's a special moment to do it one time, and if you're fortunate to do it many, many times, it still means the same as when you first did.
Jermaine Jones of Schalke playing against the nation where he plays his football, and another German-American, of course, in the side is Fabian Johnson, who's back in the starting lineup today with a new role in midfield. He might give the side a new dimension, move forward from left back for this assignment. So we're ready to go here. The German side have changed outfits. Their almost equally famous second uniform of green this time. The USA, Taylor, have to play better than they did against Belgium the other night. He's calling for better tactical discipline, everybody to be more switched on, a compactness, and to maybe give the Germans a few problems.
Yeah, and I think it's in the one area of the game, and that's defensively, making sure all 11 guys are on the same page. Too often against Belgium, there wasn't enough ball pressure, and that high line with the back four really cost them.
Certainly needs to be a more switched on defensive performance. Clarence Goodson losing his place in the starting lineup today, and Jeff Cameron as well. And that's a little message about how unhappy the coach is ahead of the World Cup qualifiers. We'll see what team he picks when it really comes to matter for the acid test away to Jamaica on Friday.
Well, and I think that's where we'll see the message. If Jeff Cameron's in the starting lineup against Jamaica, then there was no message. That's why you play these two friendlies, to test out players. We're going to see that with Brad Evans at right back.
Certainly no problem for the Germans qualifying again for the World Cup. They always do, and they're averaging over 3 goals a game in their qualifying group. They are absolutely romping it. No surprise. Altidore here, latching onto the chance to deflect behind off Mertesacker for the corner kick, but it was a decent piece of movement that by Josie Altidore.
It's a perfect piece of movement, because watch, now he's switched on, but he's between both center backs. That's where you want your center striker. Too often against Belgium, Josie Altidore is outside the width of the 18. That's a better run from Josie Altidore.
The US came up with a goal from a set piece against Belgium the other night, scored by Cameron. Graham Zusi to take it. It's well defended by Hervedez. Back in by Jermaine Jones towards Altidore. Did it come off him last or one of the defenders? One of the defenders. It's a corner. Well, the USA got through the first 9 seconds anyway, not like Ecuador the other day, Taylor. Germany scoring the fastest goal in their history down in Florida.
Interesting setup right now as Germany is playing a zone defense on this corner kick. This gives Brad Evans, Clint Dempsey an option to get some momentum.
Dempsey was attacking Mertesacker, who's a real giant at the back there. He's the one player in this starting lineup who was starting the last World Cup qualifier they played against Kazakhstan back in March. The Bayern Munich players completed a treble last night, beating Stuttgart in the German Cup final. The Dortmund players are not here either, having played in the Champions League final the week before. But Sven Bender, who started that game at Wembley, is here, and he's in this team today along with his brother Lars. Michael Bradley, USA happy to see him back. Altidore looking to make progress from the right-hand side. That's Janssen cutting it out. He's the deputy left back at the moment, behind Schmelzer of Borussia Dortmund, but he's played plenty of times for Germany in the past. Big occasion, 100 years of US soccer. There it is, written in huge letters behind that goal, just to remind everybody. Good start from the US on the front foot. It's time to look at today's performance player, fueled by Gatorade. Who is it for you, Taylor?
It's Fabian Johnson. We've seen him now at the left-hand side for Hoffenheim, and he's going to get into the attack with Josie Altidore more often than not. The one time he did that for the U.S., you were there. It was against Slovenia. They scored 3 goals, and he was very dangerous making that 3rd and 4th run out of the midfield. I think he can be a key factor today.
You just about saw that performance through the fog, as I remember it, that night, Taylor. It was a strange one, but it was a good US performance, and Johnson, you're right, Johnson was good there. He has been used at left back mainly by the US, but Hoffenheim, his club, who've just managed to stay up via a playoff.
Back.
Yeah, they've let in a lot of goals. They've moved him forward, and now the US are doing the same. He's got a bit of pace about him, though. Zusi keeping his place today is Bradley. And now Brad Evans getting this chance at right back, the Seattle Sounder player. Not his usual position, but he has played there before. It's a big test, this one, with Podolski playing down that side. Referee, by the way, is from Mexico, Paul Delgadillo. The US have only beaten Germany twice in history, both games within a matter of months in 1999. When Bruce Arena was the coach. Here's Janssen. Back to Reinhardt, getting a chance today, one of the new breed, looking for an opportunity. And then Draxler, it was blocked by Gonzalez on the way through. Watch Draxler, he's wearing an armband, you might notice, because he's got a couple of metal pins in that arm after an injury, but he's perfectly okay. It's just precautionary. It just makes him feel better to be wearing it. Only 19. You might hear a bit more about him as time goes by. Julian Draxler wearing the number 8 today for the Germans. Here's Altidore again, showing himself early on under the challenge from Janssen. He wants a free kick for that.
It's a good start from Josie Altidore, though. 7 minutes into this game, we've seen him already have 3 touches. That's more than the first 35 minutes against Belgium. When you haven't scored in a long time, you want to get involved immediately into the game. Josie Altidore has done that.
Zusi with the free kick here for the US. And that was Altidore going for the header on the near post. It was a sniff of an opportunity, no more than that.
No, but this is a better free kick from Graham Zusi. Anytime you can drive that ball near post, right in front of the goalkeeper, it's a dangerous ball.
Thankfully for the players, it's not quite as hot as it was here yesterday afternoon when the United States team did a pretty fast-paced workout for about an hour. They played a practice match, didn't they, Taylor?
Yeah, it's still warm here, and you're starting to see a little bit of it as Germany has pretty much got to the half field and allowed the U.S. to try to build up from the back. When it's this hot, you have to conserve some type of energy, and I think Germany right now, a little bit low pressure than what we thought.
Yeah, I think they're trying to pace themselves. They do not have a World Cup qualifier coming up in the next few days, as most nations do around the world. They don't play again until August, but as already explained, they're in comfortable control of their group anyway. That's Podolski with the header on. He got 2 the other day against Ecuador and is only 1 behind Jürgen Klinsmann in the German all-time scoring list now.
See, Ian, look at the line of pressure right now. Germany has 4 or 5 guys just waiting at midfield. They're allowing the 2 center backs from the U.S. to pick up their head and come forward. As this happens, as the ball keeps moving forward, now if you're Fabian Johnson and Graham Zusi, can you push high up on those outside backs from Germany?
Let's see, here's Bradley. Perfect ball, wasn't it, to Zusi. Jermaine Jones identified by Jürgen Klinsmann as one of the team leaders now in this side. It'll be especially important for him today to do well against Germany, for whom he has played in 3 friendlies. He's allowed to change because he hadn't played a competitive game for them. Draxler couldn't control it. Back in by Omar Gonzalez.
But Ian, right there's a perfect example of the difference in the first 10 minutes than Belgium. Immediately when that ball's turned over, Josie Altidore, immediate ball pressure, and Omar Gonzalez is in the middle to clean it up.
Here's Lars Bender. He did score in the European Championships against Denmark, playing wide on the right. Now then, Closer getting in behind the movement, and Gonzalez got back very well there to deny the veteran striker.
This is going to be the toughest test, is when Draxler drives into the midfield. You see Matt Beasler push forward. Omar Gonzalez, good recognition to take away that run from Closer. It's so difficult when that second forward of that midfielder is right in front of you as a center back, because both of you have to be on the same page. Beasler and Gonzalez, good job.
There's a little sign, though. The Germans just suddenly changed the pace there. They got Closer in behind. Mertesacker tried to flick it on the near post. Whether this defence can cope with the cleverness and the movement and the change of gears that the Germans might have, and the difficulties that might present. Here is Janssen. Stays in play for him. Gets in across. It goes an awful long way. Over it is, messed it up. Mertesacker has put it wide. Massive chance.
Tim Howard is claiming for a foul right here on DeMarcus Beasley. Loose ball here. DeMarcus Beasley inside. That's a foul. No foul was called. The United States extremely lucky for Mertesacker to miss the goal here, but that is a foul. Beasley had goal side position.
Referee didn't give it, and it has to go down as a huge miss by the giant defender. Perhaps from a US point of view, it fell to the right player. I think if that was Closer or a few others, that would have been in the back of the net. Here's Beasley, cap number 101. He reached his century the other night against Belgium. Congratulations to him for that. Jones wanted too much time. Closer pickpocketed the ball. Here he is again. Needs 2 goals to become Germany's all-time leading scorer above the great Gerd Müller. Sven Bender. Across to Per Mertesacker of Arsenal. Part of a very successful Arsenal defence on the run-in, which secured Champions League football for them again. They only let in 5 goals in their last 10 games in the Premier League. Mertesacker was a big reason for that, alongside Laurent Koscielny. Captained the side the other night, Mertesacker. They've given it to Closer this time, and he's got more caps. Taylor, it's vital really for the US after what happened against Belgium that they go into the Jamaica game with morale quite high, feeling good about themselves, not offer a morale-sapping bad defeat.
Well, and I think it's also important, how often does the United States get to play 2 top 15 teams in the world 4 days apart? So you can have the mistakes you have against Belgium, and then can you fix those problems 4 days later? It's going to be very similar to what they'll face next year in Brazil.
Done a lot of talking, they've watched a lot of tapes. Some of the stuff you've seen at home, and what they need to mend. Let's see if they can do it. Zusi to play it back. Now then, there he is. Oh yes, Josie Altidore ends the scoring drought, and what a way to do it! It was a sumptuous volley. What a moment for him, Taylor.
How sweet it is. His first goal with Jurgen Klinsmann as head coach from the run of play. And you saw it from the opening whistle. Josie Altidore was active. He was making sure the 2 center backs from Germany couldn't find him. That's all about this run. Give Graham Zusi a ton of credit. He hits it first time. But this is the exact same ball he had against Belgium, and he took a touch. No touch here. First time finish. Perfect. And the weight of the world just fell right off their shoulders the moment that ball hit the back of the net. What a goal.
Feel the relief. What technique that is, by the way.
Perfect technique.
Great goal from Altidore. He's going to feel so much better about life. It's the first time he scored in open play for the USA since June the 11th, 2 years ago nearly, against Guadeloupe in the Gold Cup. His only other goal in the Klinsmann era, a penalty against Slovenia. But that was as sweet as they come. How did Germany respond to that? It is their first visit to the United States for 14 years since they were beaten.
No, and you watch this run from Josie Altidore. Look, he's on the back shoulder. This is what you want as a center forward, because now Mertesacker thinks he's coming in behind. But that split second, look at that move. It's a little thing. Now you have the center back guessing, where am I as a center forward? That's a perfect run from Altidore.
And Mertesacker got lost under the ball, didn't he? Completely. All the credit in the world to Josie Altidore for the manner in which he took that. He's full of goals for his club, as we've been explaining in Holland, but he just seemed to be in a rut for the USA. That has ended here. Oh, and it's dragged wide of the post in the end by Fabian Johnson.
See, this is the kind of run we saw from Fabian Johnson against Slovenia. He has that understanding when he can get forward, he'll tuck inside. Now it's a nightmare for a back four to pick up your left-sided midfielder when he comes in the middle. Good run. Just a little bit sense of more urgency for Jurgen Klinsmann and his team the first 16 minutes, Ian.
Yeah, because often in this game, you can take a mauling, it's how you bounce back. Or it often is, anyway. A lot of football left in this yet, mind you. Reinhardt's getting pressured high up the pitch by Jermaine Jones. That's part of the tactic. Oh, it's an own goal! That's gone in! You can't believe it! What a terrible mistake by Ter Stegen, the goalkeeper. And the US find themselves 2 up in 16 minutes. That was a nightmare. What was the goalkeeper thinking there? Extraordinary.
Well, and at the U.S. training yesterday, we saw this. Look at Josie Altidore over here and Clint Dempsey. They wanted Germany to play a long ball from the goal kick. This is the reason why. Well done. Immediate ball pressure from Jermaine Jones. Now look at this. It's 3v3 out of the back, and it's a gift. But that's a gift started. You've earned that gift as the United States, and that's props to Jurgen Klinsmann, because all day at training yesterday, they worked on defending goal kicks.
I think that has to go down as own goal, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen of Borussia Mönchengladbach, because he did get a touch on Havede's back pass and only helped it across his line. What a terrible moment for the goalkeeper. Of course, he's one of those auditioning for a place he hopes in next summer's World Cup squad. He didn't do any favours there. Front 2 positions are filled by Manuel Neuer and Rene Adler. And there's a place for a third goalkeeper. It might not be Ter Stegen, if that memory lingers.
Well, and it's interesting because a lot of people were probably watching the pregame show with Alexi Lawless and Casey Keller, and Alexi's first thing he said was, I'm going to watch how the United States defends goal kicks. That's why. I mean, yesterday they trained for an hour and a half. 20 minutes of that was setting up defensively when Germany had their goal kick.
Paid off there.
And I get it, it's an own goal. So let's say they take the long ball, but now you're playing in the defensive third of Germany.
Never can tell with this game, can you? What odds would you have got that the US will be 2 up in 16 minutes? The Germans starting as slowly as they were fast against Ecuador in Boca Raton the other day. Yesterday morning they enjoyed the sights of Washington, including going to see the White House. I'm not quite sure they're enjoying the visit quite so much at the moment. Draxler turns it inside. Reinhardt helps it forward. Sven Bender inside. This is a promising looking attack. It's Schürrle. Dangerous play. It's Schürrle! Oh, he can't finish it off. The man who's about to join Chelsea had a wonderful opportunity.
Oh my goodness. Tim Howard's having words with DeMarcus Beasley and Matt Beasler right now, because this is not what you want if you're the Americans. At some point, Matt Beasler has to come over and support. That is too long. When DeMarcus Beasley gets beat immediately, Matt Beasler has to be there. US have dodged a bullet here. 20 million pounds for that man, huh?
That was worrying, though. It was almost a case of the disappearing defense, wasn't it? Good run by Schürrle and all that, but the challenges weren't too stiff. Hovades, everyone looking to restate his case in this German team. There have been a few critics back at home, apparently. We were learning yesterday about Germany even coming here at all without their Bayern Munich players and their Borussia Dortmund players. Altidore, lovely turn. That time Dempsey's in here! Oh, and this time Ter Stegen does much, much better.
You haven't scored a goal in over 2 years from the run of play. Let me tell you what it does for you. The weight of the world's off his shoulders. Great turn, perfect first touch. Josie Altidore is a different player just by scoring that goal early. That's the job of a target forward. Hold on to that ball and knock it off for your runner out coming out of the midfield.
Great effort by Dempsey. Good save, though. Zusi, who set up the goal, he'll claim an assist with that one, is Omar Gonzalez. To learn a hard lesson himself after some promising displays the other night, giving away one really against Belgium. He'll put his hands up to that. Zusi towards Dempsey. Don't adjust your sets. That's right, top corner of your screen, USA 2, Germany 0. Germany ranked number 2 in the world by FIFA, the world governing body. Some confusion over the United States ranking. It is number 29. American Outlaws, the other fan groups already starting the celebrations, but I think you've seen once or twice from the Germans already. They could have had 2 themselves, couldn't they?
Agreed.
Bit of a mess up by Janssen. Zusi didn't really take full advantage of that. Lars Bender to bring it forward from defence. Not able to pick up young Drexler. He's only winning his 6th cap. Here he is. Number 8, they're looking for him to be the playmaker. Like a few others out there, he is on trial. Reinhardt with the ball towards Schürrle. All this part of a massive month for the United States men's national team.
That's a much better job from Matt Besler. We saw Schürrle one-on-one with Beasley have much more time. Besler leaves closer, comes over and supports.
Dempsey did well. Altidore, who's trying the shot now, and this time Ter Stegen fell over. The ball was way, way wide. But the goalkeeper at the moment is very, very nervy. I think that underlined your point perfectly, Taylor, how confident Josie Altidore is.
We
now.
haven't seen that in 18 months.
He's trying to do a Pele almost from the halfway line. Cut out by Brad Evans. So far, so good for him in the right-back position. Little chance to state his case. Like a few of these, he's also been named in the provisional squad of 35 for the Gold Cup, which comes up in July. Also on that list is Carlos Bocanegra and a certain Landon Donovan. Foul by Besler, free kick. Mertesacker not having his happiest day so far. Reinhardt's lovely ball through, it's closer, and it's 2-1, but the flag is up. It's offside, it won't count. Denied the goal that would have put him level with Gerd Müller.
This is just where Klose is so good. All game long, what's he had? 2, maybe 3 touches, and he just loves to play those mind games. But that is because that back four from the United States is on the same page. Brad Evans to Marcus Beasley looking right across the line, staying him offside. Well done.
Yeah, he was about 1.5 yards off, wasn't he? Definitely got that right, the officials. Incidentally, last month, just to show he's still full of goals, Miroslav Klose, playing for Lazio against Bologna, got 5 in a 6-0 win. One of the most likeable world-class players there is around. He did a press conference here yesterday. He was all charm. Jermaine Jones to Josie Altidore. Somebody was cheeky enough to ask Miro Klose, did he recognize any of the other players, because he hadn't played for Germany since last October. Reinhardt's looking to choreograph the play and finding Podolski. Here's some work for Brad Evans to do, and he does it too. Janssen loves to attack from left back. He's almost like a left wing back at times.
Well, for those that thought nerves would be a part of the first half for Brad Evans, no chance. Every single time that ball's gotten to Podolski's feet, immediate pressure from Brad Evans.
Janssen inside, laid off by Podolski to Draxler. It's good tracking back. Dempsey's working so hard. He's given the captaincy to lead from the front, be the inspiration. Draxler. Good pressing of the ball there by the US to get it back.
Yeah, particularly Michael Bradley and Jermaine Jones on the same page.
Marcus Beasley with a long ball towards Fabian Johnson. German players, of course, will know all about him. He plays in the Bundesliga himself for Hoffenheim. He will be staying in that division as well. It was a close run thing. They had to win a playoff game against Kaiserslautern from the second division. 2 games to be exact. Sven Bender's ball forward. Quite interested. He's the only Dortmund player who's come to be a part of this squad. I'm guessing that's because he really wanted to. Didn't want the break that was being offered those players. But his 4th cap, maybe that's the reason. Just to state something to Jürgen Löw. The US break here with Jermaine Jones. Tries to slide it in behind to Altidore, gone to the back post. It's a misunderstanding.
It's a misunderstanding, but Josie Altidore made the first run was the right one, and that's what Jermaine Jones is unhappy with. On Josie's goal, he ran on the back post. Now you've got Mertesacker guessing he has to come in front of him there. Jermaine Jones saw it.
Has to be said, it would be a notable scalp for the US to beat Germany, friendly or not. The Jürgen Klinsmann era has already featured a historic away win in Italy and an equally historic one in the Azteca against Mexico.
In the beginning of this game reminds me a lot of the US-Germany game in Jacksonville in 1999. It's a 3-0 win, and it was just one of those games where Germany missed a couple early chances and the United States buried it.
Claudio Reyna, Tony Sané, Jovan Kirovski getting the goals on that occasion. Draxler pulling it forward, and Podolski got him behind. He did well there, Brad Evans. He had to win that one. Always think Michael Bradley is the glue in this side. Sticks it all together. Give me the ball and I'll generally do something sensible with it. We need him in there. It's a very sultry afternoon in the nation's capital. is Dempsey. He's behind most good things so far, the skipper. Jones won the tackle, and the referee is going to halt the play. ESPN's presentation of US Soccer is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. Sven Bender. Another test for DeMarcus Beasley up against Schürrle today. He's had a few lately and he does well there, learning the left back position as he goes along and learning it pretty well so far. I think he's #1 for that role at the moment, don't you, Taylor?
I do. Because I think he has the one attribute of speed and recovery, but I think it also allows Fabian Johnson to play more offensive.
Draxler with the corner for the Germans. Easy one for Clint Dempsey to get away. Germany won't panic. They're a nation that habitually finds a way to win, though, has to be said, not so often most recently when it's come to semi-finals and finals. Surprisingly, they haven't won a big trophy since 1996, Euro 96 at Wembley, and the man who lifted that trophy was Jürgen Klinsmann. And Oliver Bierhoff got the golden goal that day, and he's Jogi Löw's assistant now, and he's going to stay, despite one or two newspaper reports in Germany suggesting otherwise. Podolski to cut it back. Here needs to be one. Beasler got an important header. Draxler with the header. Howard elect to punch it away. Jones with a slightly panicky clearance after that, but Dempsey's picked it up. Pretty open game, this, isn't it?
Yeah, my only complaint for the United States in this first half is dealing with second balls inside their own 18. 2 of Germany's 3 chances have come from defending not the first ball, but it's the second one. We saw it early on. Mertesacker missed it wide, but it's that second ball in the 18 that's caused problems for the Americans.
Everybody has to be on red alert back there. It's a case of putting out fires, isn't it, and realizing where they might break out before they do. It's a loose ball that time from Brad Evans. Lars Bender. Reinhardt, who looks as if he can pick a pass. I know that Jogi Löw was very happy with his substitute appearance against Ecuador the other day, which is why he's in the starting lineup for this game. Stefan Reinhardt of Bayer Leverkusen. A lot of players from that club, and Schalke and Hamburg in this particular squad. Sven Bender's ball forward. Klose not getting that much service so far. As the distinctive Jogi Löw, who, the word has it, he will be ending his long tenure as the German coach after the next World Cup. I don't think he'll be short of offers, will he?
No.
Schürrle.
See, now you're starting to see the heat, Ian. You're starting to see the heat of this game pick up. This game has slowed down tremendously in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. I was about to say they're conscious of that, aren't they? I think the players out there that they'll need to pace this. It is a very sultry afternoon. That might be an understatement. Coming up after this game at 4:30 Eastern today on ESPN News, the US women's national team in Centennial Day action as well. They take on their rival to the north, Canada. Those two, of course, producing that memorable encounter at the Olympic Games. It's the first time they've met since. Julie Foudy and Adrian Healy waiting to bring you that one later. Schürrle. Oh, it's a good idea. Draxler Little made a run behind there, but the ball had too much pace on it. Teller, I'm just wondering whether this German team is going to suddenly change gear at some point in the second half here and really turn on the turbos a bit.
Well, I mean, they've had their fair share of chances. I think the U.S. have done a better job, particularly in the midfield, and I think that goes down to the inclusion of Michael Bradley in the lineup. I think him and Jermaine Jones have a better understanding of when someone goes forward, the other one needs to stay. I think the U.S. have done a better job with ball pressure in the midfield today.
Bradley, nice one too, with Dempsey. Here he is again. Zusi. Needs to be the right delivery now. Definitely a more confident look about this US side. A lot of critics after the 4-2 defeat against Belgium, and there were certainly errors and it wasn't the greatest display, but they were up against a very, very good team who I think will give a lot of other sides problems. Here's Biesler. Pretty much up for grabs, I'd say. Places in central defence. I think Omar Gonzalez is in pole position at the moment, but alongside him, anybody's guess. Beasley. Will be a corner. Well, the requirement was an improved display from the US, and that's exactly what we're getting so far.
I talked about it earlier in the first half. You look at this. You've got 2 U.S. players unmarked right now because the Germans have 6 or 7 guys free. They're zoning. That gives those 2 gentlemen momentum. They can outwin those head balls.
Susi looking for a different angle from the cross.
No, but if that's the case, you can't do a short corner there. You bring Omar Gonzalez forward, you have to make sure you get a delivery.
That time they didn't. The Germans were quick to close it down.
See, now all that short corner and stuff, you have a set piece in your favor, a corner kick in your favor, and that's what you get out of it.
It's all right for Spain to play the short ones. They never play crosses in, do they? Generally, because they've got nobody tall enough to win headers unless Sergio Ramos comes forward from the back. Scholler. Looks like he'll be wearing the blue of Chelsea next season. Deal seems to be agreed, if not signed yet. Looks like he'll be coached by Jose Mourinho there, so I'm guessing he must have okayed that deal. Though you never can quite tell at Chelsea.
No, it also looks like that De Bruyne will go from Chelsea to Leverkusen as part of that loan.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Schürrle is that much better than De Bruyne.
Well, that's the argument, having seen them both in the last few days.
Wow.
Doesn't matter what we think, does it?
No, of course not.
We're not doing the signings. Jones, nicely measured. DeMarcus Beasley. Altidore and Dempsey trying to work something together. Easily cut out that time. Still 2-0 for the US. And one of those goals, an absolute peach by Josie Altidore. The other really was Keystone Cop stuff.
It's very difficult when you haven't played right back to make that understanding of when to defend that overlapping run. Brad Evans has done this 3 or 4 times in the first half.
Big examination I'm sure in his mind he's thinking this is the biggest game he's probably ever played, even though it is a friendly.
Well, arguably, it's out of his position.
And that was his header away as well, by the way. Draxler. Lovely piece of skill, wasn't it? Turned back towards Podolski, who couldn't keep it down, not like him. And he can't half crack a football.
Well, the scoreline of this game is 2-0, but Germany has had 3 quality chances, and you look at Podolski just kind of slithers his way behind the 5 or 6 defenders from the U.S. It's really been the storyline this first half. Germany's had their chances.
Lovely piece of play, wasn't it, by Draxler, setting that up. He has a $70 million release clause in his contract with Schalke. That's how highly they rate him. Altidore. Fabian Johnson, almost invited to line one up. Zusi's cushion, ball forward. Jermaine Jones getting through a stack of work. Corner.
Now Germany's completely changed how they're defending this one. Dempsey, Gonzalez, and Michael Bradley are man marked.
Wasn't the best corner, didn't beat the first defender. Giesler's ball forward, not accurate enough, and possession rather surrendered. But he had a storming game in the Azteca when the US got a very good goalless draw in the World Cup qualifier recently. And he's forced his way towards the front of Jurgen Klinsmann's thinking. Sporting Kansas City player. Bradley and Dempsey. Altidore, that's too long though for DeMarcus Beasley. He's very, very quick on the recovery every time.
That's the thing about DeMarcus Beasley, and you can beat him once, but you can't beat him twice. And this is a perfect example. He's already beat once. Okay, now I'm going to follow this play through. It's a professional foul, and it allows everyone to get back behind the ball.
He's helped by the little tug, it has to be said there. This is appearance number 101, that elite club of only 13 players right the way through US soccer history who have over 100 caps for the men's senior team. Remember, they fly to Jamaica on Tuesday to get ready for that big World Cup qualifier on Friday, away from home. Not an easy place to go. A few places are, of course, in the CONCACAF Hex. No particular hurry from the Germans. Here's Mertesacker, who missed that big chance early on to put Germany ahead. Sven Bender. Here's his brother Lars. They've worked that well between them. Sven Bender to cut it back again, and Omar Gonzalez is in the way. He'll always eat those up. Schürrle's come out to the left-hand side, his more natural habitat. Draxler again looks offside there. Closer, he certainly was. United States team here looking to make it a happy 100th birthday for US soccer in this landmark game. The first US men's game, by the way, wasn't back in 1913. It was 1916. in Sweden, a 3-2 win in Stockholm. Not bad start. Away win in Europe.
What an event last night as well.
Oh yes, tremendous, wasn't it? The birthday dinner, beautifully staged, I thought, by US Soccer.
Just trying to figure out why no one sat at the table with you and I.
Yeah, must have been something we said. Either that or the wrong deodorant. Remember, a whole raft of substitutions likely later on here. Just the way of it with international friendly matches. Germans would love to get one back before the break, though, to have something to bite at. Here's Marcel Janssen. Andre Schürrle. Janssen not picked up really by Zeus. He got behind him very, very easily. Biesler got it away. That was alarming, really, how easily the US defense was unzipped on that side.
Get up! Get up! Get up! Keep going! Keep going!
Not exactly the ball that Ter Stegen wanted. He's certainly being a central character in the drama, and the drama has ended for the moment with the US in an improbable 2-0 lead. The big story here, Josie Altidore breaking a long scoring drought with a sumptuous volley into the corner of the net. The second was an own goal. So far, very happy 100th birthday celebration for the US, but there's plenty of life left in this yet. 2-0 to the US as we hand it back to Bob.
Amazing first 45 minutes here with Casey Keller and Alexi Lawless. Josie Altidore in the first 45 minutes of this match has more shots than in his prior 4 national team appearances combined.
Great
4 shots.
Great first 45, but just as the sky wasn't falling after the horrible performance against Belgium, it's not as if the U.S. team is going to go win the World Cup after this 45. However, I've been very critical of Jurgen Klinsmann for not living up to this proactive approach that he has promised. But this first half, from the very first whistle, tactically, he had this U.S. team come out and pressure Germany. He out-Germaned the Germans, all right? And it resulted in the goals. That is important. First 45 minutes, great. Let's see how they finish off this game.
Bradley's back. Evans looks good at right back.
Yeah, it's made a difference, no question. But you've also seen 2-3 opportunities that the Germans created. Something that the U.S. has to be still a little bit careful on. There's a little overcommitment to go out wide, allowing him to come inside, get some good shooting angles. Fortunately, one of them fell to Mertesacker, a center back. But you would have thought that Schürrle would have finished the chance that he had, and it would have been a whole different ball game right now.
But on a day of planned celebration for the first 100 years of U.S. soccer, there could be another celebration in the works for what is unfolding here in RFK Stadium in the 13th minute. Zuzi's feed. Altidore puts it home, ending a long 2-year scoring drought. Much to come at the half.
And the action just underway for a couple of seconds there on this special day in a sultry Washington, D.C. United States playing well, and 2 goals to the good here against Germany, who've made a few changes here at half-time. Mertesacker is one of those who's come up. They've put in young Bolscheit to play at the back there. Only his second cap, one of those who made his debut the other day against Ecuador. He plays for Bayer Leverkusen. I say a youngster, he's 24 now. Former under-20 international. So he gets a chance in there. Reinhardt's who stays on the pitch. Klose and Podolski are still both out there as well, I've noticed.
Yeah, but Podolski's dropped into center midfield. Max Cruz, the young kid, has now moved up front with Klose.
Draxler now playing wide on the left-hand side and getting an early crossing, which DeMarcus Beasley is happy to put it away for a corner. That gives us a chance to call in Monica Gonzalez, who has news of a U.S. substitution.
Thanks, Ian. Well, I talked to Jurgen Klinsmann. He said Fabian Johnson is out with a little bit of a hamstring pull, so that's why Brad Davis is in. He said no special instructions for Brad Davis. He knows what to do. And he also said the first 10 minutes he wants him to be very careful. It's going to be a mind game out there. Ian?
Thank you, Monica. Here comes the cross. Germany definitely want to do something about this. They don't want to be going home on the back of what would be a demoralizing defeat for them. That was Paredes coming forward.
But remember yesterday in training in the 11v11, Fabian Johnson pulled up a little lame at the end of that. Now you have concern for him for Jamaica on June 7th.
Well, if it is a hamstring, I don't think he's going to make it, is he? Unless it's only precautionary that they've taken him off. That's usually a longer job, isn't it, Taylor?
Yeah, but your eyes saw that yesterday in training.
Well, he started today, didn't he? So
Yep.
we took it that it wasn't much. So maybe it was something that was aggravated in the first half. We may find out a little more about that a little later on, but that does put a question mark against Fabian Johnson for the World Cup qualifier at Jamaica on Friday. Germany haven't lost to the USA since the Confederation Cup in Guadalajara back in 1999 when Joe Max Moore and Ben Olsen, well known in this stadium, got the goals. They've had their chances already in this game. Schürrle. I think they probably went in at half-time to meet a quite angry Jogi Löw. Wouldn't have been happy, would he?
No, but on the other side of things, they had 3 quality chances.
Didn't take him. Draxler with a very loose pass indeed, letting Dempsey. Was he fouled? He stays down, Dempsey. The referee says play on. Better keep an eye on that one. Of course, every player that goes down will be a concern to Jurgen Klinsmann this close to the big games. It's a better sight. Just collided with Volschak, didn't he? Paredes has gone to right back where he played the other day against Ecuador in the 4-2 win. Brad Davis taking the place of Fabian Johnson on the left of midfield. Here's Jones. Looks to get Zusi in. He got a head on that too, on the rebound. Volschak does the covering. I wondered if they might sub the goalkeeper at half-time and give Ron Robert Seeler a game. He hasn't had one yet on this US tour. Ter Stegen stays in goal for the moment. This is one of the substitutes. Aogo back to Draxler. Schürrle here, danger. US gets it away in the shape of Jermaine Jones. Comes straight back again though, rather worryingly. Chelsea have been looking at Schürrle for a long, long time. It's only now that they seem very close to actually making the deal happen. Here's Podolski, as you say, playing very deep. This is Kruse. Good pacey run, stands it up towards the back post, and Beasley is there. Really good work there by Kruse, who took the eye in his debut against Ecuador the other day. An addition to the squad. He plays for Freiburg and is about to be transferred to Borussia Mönchengladbach on a 4-year deal. Took the eye with that run. And there's a goal straight away. The Germans are back in it. And it was Westermann, the substitute, up from the back. Uncontested header, it looked like.
Well, in U.S. going into halftime, when was Germany going to wake up? Well, they woke up at halftime. And the U.S. has to be extremely careful here because when you're up 2-0, you can get a little sloppy and slow, and they have not come out with the same urgency, and this is just too easy. Westermann loses Omar Gonzalez's mark way too simple. Omar Gonzalez overcommits himself to that near post, and that's a simple finish.
Heiko Westermann of Hamburg with what is his 4th international goal. He's been out the picture the last 2 or 3 years, Westerman. Back in the squad in the last World Cup qualifier and coming up with a goal here. And that's going to make this quite a long half, I think, for the United States. (2-1) feels a whole lot different, doesn't it? Jones, it was a very loose ball. Schürrle was so surprised that the ball skipped over his foot. Now then, DeMarcus Beasley cutting inside and couldn't quite finish it. It was a great run by DeMarcus Beasley. He's taken an injury for his pains.
And this is perfect recognition from Beasley because Brad Davis is out wide on the touchline. Now he's got him one-on-one, no problem. If you're going to push forward as an outside back, make sure you commit yourself to getting a chance. And there was a late push right there to the head.
Yeah, on up by Javides after the ball had gone. This is what happened to him.
And it just looks like accidental. Javides looks like collides heads with DeMarcus Beasley.
Yeah, shake of the hand between the two players. It's good to see that the German delegation were special invitees and guests at the big gala dinner last night. Kruse. Second cap for him out to Schürrle, who was full of goals when he first came into the German side. Javides. There's a different feel about Germany in this second half. They've slipped forward a gear or two.
Yeah, but what they've also done is leave some pockets of space for Brad Davis and Graham Zusi on the counter.
They were asked to put the ball out of play because there is an injury to Jermaine Jones. Holding his neck. Is Eddie Johnson waiting to come on?
It looks like Edgar Castillo as well, Ian.
Eddie Johnson about to win his 50th cap for the United States. Dempsey here. Reinhardt's got the foot in, and here's Podolski. A slightly more unfamiliar role. Draxler, Podolski again. Now Ayogo with the crossing towards Miroslav Klose. Notoriously good in the air. US substitutions about to happen here. The substitution fueled by Gatorade. It's Eddie Johnson's 50th cap to take over here from Graham Zusi, and we're going to see Edgar Castillo for the first time in a while. The left back who plays his football for Tijuana, have been doing good things in the Copa Libertadores. Johnson will go and play on the right-hand side where Zusi was playing. He's got good memories of this stadium. He scored the USA's first hat-trick here, 3 in 25 minutes against Panama, all of 9 years ago now. Beasley, poor clearance to Schürrle. Johnson with the recovery work, which was needed. It was a panicky piece of play, that really, by Matt Beasley. Kruse towards Miroslav Klose. You've seen it so many times in the World Cup, how good he is in the air, and he only needs 2 goals at the next World Cup finals, if selected, to become the leading World Cup marksman of all time, ahead of Brazilian Ronaldo.
He has scored 4 goals in more than 3 or more World Cups.
Yep.
Only player to do so.
5, and then 4 at the last one. Yeah, it's great stuff. Johnson slipped in behind there. It was Westerman who got it away. Aogo. I think Jurgi Löw meant business with his half-time team talk and his changes as well.
Well, I think a big part of that is Podolski dropping deeper into the midfield. Now he's a threat to shoot from distance, and it's opened up Bradley and Jones coming out. It's opened up some space up front for Germany.
I think the US might do well to hold on to this, Taylor.
Yeah, they've come out a little flat in this second half.
It's a big examination now. Here's the 19-year-old. Julian Draxler with the corner kick for Germany. Abedes was up there, comes out to Cruiser. He couldn't find Podolski. Now the break's on. They need some support. Brad Davis found a decent ball, didn't he? It's Edgar Castillo's first involvement. There weren't too many options for him, really. Just keeping the ball and playing economically is good for the United States. They have the lead, make Germany work to get it back again.
Yeah, possession's one thing, though, Ian, but on the other hand, you're defending a corner there. You've got 3v3 on the counter. At times you have to pick your poison and take that chance on the counter there. For U.S. had a break. Eddie Johnson was wide open.
Brad Davis with that educated left foot of his with the corner kick. Very much part of Jurgen Klinsmann's thinking. Castillo. Jurgen Klinsmann talking the other day about how much he's matured as a player. So he's got good control and composure. And, more on-field personality, as he put it. Now then, Altidore here. Thought about a left foot cross shot for a moment there. Oh, Bradley was arriving. Dempsey! 3-1, United States! And Clint Dempsey's scoring streak carries on.
Klinsmann has talked about getting a complete performance from Jozy Altidore. This is the perfect example of that. Jozy Altidore doesn't score this goal, but he's a threat offensively. Has control, drops the back line, picks up his head, and finds Clint Dempsey. Your job as a center forward is to keep that center back on his toes. Jozy does that great first touch, but now it's the understanding, the calmness. Pick up your head, find the runner. Simple finish for Clint Dempsey. That goal is all Jozy Altidore.
Goal and an assist for Altidore. 4 in the last 5 games for Clint Dempsey, who now has 12 goals in 19 appearances in the Jurgen Klinsmann era. Nobody else has more than 3. And he now is level with Eric Winalda on 34 US goals, number 2 all time behind Landon Donovan. Needed that one as well, with the Germans really looking like they had it in them to get back level, and maybe quickly. Nicely done by the US. Here's Eddie Johnson. Talking about the US not making chances, not scoring enough goals. They've got 3 today.
Yeah, but it's a simple thing for me, and I know people are going to shake their head at home because I'm repeating it, but when you're a center forward, your job is to stay central, because now you occupy the 2 center backs from Germany. All day today, Jozy Altidore's been there. So now who can run off him? Fabian Johnson, Brad Davis, Graham Zusi, Eddie Johnson, Clint Dempsey. When you occupy those 2 center backs, space opened up underneath. Not a bad finish either way, right?
Yeah. Woo. And Bradley's late arrival caused the confusion as well, didn't it, from a deep position. The ball ran past him onto Dempsey, and he doesn't miss those really in his current form. Much more of a feel-good day for the US than it was on Wednesday against Belgium. Borchait will get it back. There's one or two inexperienced players out there for Germany. And one or two who are very experienced, like this fellow Lukas Podolski, who played Schürrle into trouble there, really, didn't he? And now has to get back. Westermann. Schürrle again. Quite a few of these players on the bench in the last World Cup qualifying game, which the Germans played against Kazakhstan. Draxler hugging the touchline in the second half. Kruse, but the flag's up. Germany have scored at least 2 in 21 of their last 25 competitive internationals, which is an astonishing record. Of course, when it came to it at the Euros, they couldn't do it against the Italians, who outplayed them. United States 3, Germany 1. Altidore is having a fine day. Back to Eddie Johnson. Brad Davis. Back to Castillo. Jones to Dempsey. Not much pressure on the ball from the Germans. US doing what they like, and Dempsey, oh! It is a picture goal from the skipper. The United States are in a kind of dreamland here. 4 goals against Germany.
I mean, is there anything this kid can't do? Awful defending from Lukas Podolski, but the only thing Clint Dempsey ever looks for is to get his defender on the wrong foot and look for that half a yard. Doesn't try to kill it. Good technique, bend it far post. What a finish. What an absolute great finish.
Well, there'll always be people who will say it's a friendly, it doesn't matter. The real thing is Friday. All that is right, but the requirement from the United States team today was to get back on the front foot and go into the World Cup qualifiers in an optimistic frame of mind, and I think you could say they've done that here. Of course, it'll all come to nothing if they mess it up on Friday, and which will be a different kind of game completely.
Yeah, but Ian, if this score stays the same and it's a friendly standing alone, it's one thing. I think this is actually a bigger result because of the game against Belgium. They recognized what the problem was and they fixed it. Yes, there's still 25 plus minutes to go, but they've recognized what the problems were, and they've now assessed how to fix those, and they've done it today. Pressure in the midfield, a better defensive back line, and then obviously anytime you score 4 goals is fun.
I'll tell you something, friendly or not, Jürgen Löw is going to go home to some horrible headlines if it stays something like this.
But you're exactly right, Ian, and we were talking about it yesterday at lunch, is that you see the Costa Rica-Mexico result, then you see the Belgium, and there's just so much 0 to 100 with how you feel as a fan. The reality is June 7th is the big game.
To me, the Germans look exhausted at the moment. I know they've got a few subs out there who should be relatively fresh-legged. But on that Dempsey goal, I mean, you're talking about pressure on the ball from the United States. There was nothing from the Germans at all. They stood and watched him do it, basically. Two for Dempsey, who is now out on his own as number 2 all-time scorer for the United States.
Who's number 1?
Landon Donovan, of course. You knew that. Being mischievous again. He's offside here, Eddie Johnson. It's interesting. I mean, Landon has been named in that provisional 35, which has to be trimmed to 25-3.
But look at that ball pressure you're talking about. I mean, that's elementary defending from Lucas Podolski. Jumping up on a simple fake from Clint Dempsey. It's too easy.
If Jurgi Löw needed any proof, there it was that Podolski's not really a midfield player, a central midfield player. He's many things, but not that. Sidney Sam has come on meanwhile for the Germans. Somewhere in the middle of all that. Draxler almost invited to shoot here. Howard made a save. It's offside position there for Klose when the ball came out again. But they were asking for trouble, really, the US defenders there.
And Draxler is something special. 19 years old, and you see exactly why Schalke put that $70 million buyout into his clause. The youngest German to ever score in the Champions League. He's got something.
Brad Evans got the ball away. Draxler is taking the eye with some of his touches, like that one to Cruiser, who's looked pretty good since he came on. Quite a live wire. And of course, the moment I say that, he gives the ball away. The commentator's care strikes again. Nicely done by Castillo, the Mexican-American contingent that Jurgen Klinsmann has experimented with since he took over in charge. Only the second time in the Klinsmann era that the US have scored this many goals. The other time was the 5 they got against Scotland a year ago. Altidore getting in a bit of an argument with Volscheid and getting the free kick as well. Given as a free kick against the German, he's saying, hang on a minute, he pushed me first.
This is what I'm talking about. We haven't seen this Jozy Altidore in at least over 12 months for the U.S. It's a little thing, and people are watching at home going, what? It was a simple foul. That's your target forward fighting for every half a yard. Now, all the 10 guys behind him, they're following that lead. They're following the guy that's fighting for every single inch in this game.
When we talk about a week being a long time in politics, 4 days seems to be quite a long time in football, doesn't it?
It's unbelievable. It's a hotline from Germany. Clint Dempsey loves to be that second runner right in front of the goalkeeper.
Brad Davis to play it in. Volscheid it was who got it away this time. There's no doubt about it. The American fans are really enjoying this, and of course Clint Dempsey is now on a hat-trick. Remember, it's Jamaica away on Friday, and then 4 days later Panama come to Seattle, and a week after that Honduras in Salt Lake City.
7 points. That's what they need to get.
Sounds easy when you say it like that, but it'll be hard work out there. The games have been tight in that group.
Yeah, but U.S. in those home World Cup qualifiers, 21-0-2 in their last 23.
Yeah. Certainly on a good roll. Good ball by Jermaine Jones. Eddie Johnson with the freedom of Washington by the look of it. And it's a poor ball that time by Altidore, but he is having a very good game here and restating his case in some style. Benedict Ovades out towards Sidney Sam, who played pretty well against Ecuador the other day when he started. Player who comes from the port of Kiel on the northern coast of Germany, but he is eligible to play for Nigeria still until he plays competitively for Germany. He's enjoying this, Jurgen Klinsmann. He must be, mustn't he? against the nation of his birth. Coming up on Tuesday, June the 11th, a double-header on ESPN. FIFA World Cup qualifiers, Mexico against Costa Rica, 7:30 Eastern. And then at 10 o'clock, it's the United States against Panama, that game we were talking about, live from Seattle. Both matches available as well on Watch ESPN. Dempsey again, he's having a really good game today. Just keeping the ball economically, that's all that's necessary. 4-1 lead. Can almost afford to take the view now, save a bit for Friday.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now this turns into a training game. A little bit of possession, 2-touch, and knock it around.
And to that end, no wonder whether Jurgen Klinsmann is starting to think maybe I should take one or two of the key players off and wrap them in cotton wool now.
I think he started that already with Graham Zusi and DeMarcus Beasley coming off.
Well, let's hit the referee that time and controlled it beautifully for King Dempsey.
That's a good first touch.
Yeah, killed it. Here's Eddie Johnson. Can he mark his 50th cap with a goal? Brad Davis with a nice layback. It's Dempsey again. Oh, he really fancies it today. He really does. Lineouts. Worth reminding ourselves, it is a German side without Philipp Lahm, Jerome Boateng, Schmaltz on the left back, Khedira, Özil, Gundogan, Royce, Muller, Goetze. It's not a bad list, so it isn't the full strength German side, and there always has to be that qualification. However, as we said, there are plenty of other good players out there, dangerous players who wiped out Ecuador, who are going well in South American qualifying the other day. So not pouring any cold water on it, just stating the facts. Sam. Podolski got 11 league goals in the Premier League for Arsenal. Towards Cruiser here. And to be very careful with the challenge there.
There were question marks coming into this game about Brad Evans at right back, but he's done a wonderful job of supporting his two center backs and covering their spaces. Right there, Omar Gonzalez is beat over the top. Brad Evans reads it very well.
Draxler's corner. Will be a goal kick. Brad Evans, he was auditioning for the right back role. How's he done, Taylor?
He's done phenomenal, and particularly because he's been very proactive defensively. He's not waiting for the play coming in. He's been there. And every single time his two center backs have gotten beat a little bit, he's been there to answer their call. And I love his understanding of how to defend the overlap. It's very difficult to move from the midfield to outside back, and he's done a wonderful job of dealing with those outside runs.
Remember Steve Cherundolo, very much the first choice right back, still working his way back and won't be involved in these June games, but has to be very much part of the equation still.
Well, and it goes back to that argument, Ian, in friendlies, how do you get answers if you don't play them? How many times did Jurgen say that yesterday?
Well, exactly. Steve Cherundolo scored, didn't he, the last time the two nations met in Dortmund, and you were involved that day, Taylor.
Yeah, I tackled Oliver Kahn. So Stevie got his first goal.
Neither of you
still lost 4-1.
Cherundolo's shot went in. Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Podolski. Ayogo, another one who could, in theory, play for Nigeria, but he's elected to play for Germany. Cruiser. to Sam. A little jink from him. I think when they look back on this US tour, this fella Cruiser might be one of those who comes out as one of the big pluses. They liked his performance in Ecuador, and they're liking what they're probably seeing here as well. He's looked lively since he came on. That's his effort there, just curling off the target.
Right on cue. We saw this against Ecuador, though. He has a very good understanding as a center forward of just having a quick turn and hit. You're only 20 yards from goal. All you need is that half a yard, and he does a wonderful job of setting himself up. Just misses. And Ian, at home, you're watching this game. It's the 78th minute. You're up 4-1, and you think this isn't a training exercise. This is still a training exercise for Jurgen Klinsmann and his staff. You can now watch the current 11 guys on the field, how they deal with the lead. Can they defend? It's very important they don't give up a second goal from Germany.
Draxler. I think he's done enough today for us all to see what the fuss is about. He's obviously got loads and loads of ability, but it's a hard team to get into, the German side. Working this nicely around the edge of the box. Oh, and it's beautifully hit. That's 4-2, and it's Cruiser right on cue. Great hit from him. It's his first goal for Germany. Tim Howard could hardly smell it.
Well, and we saw these runs Cruiser made against Ecuador, and he's just very good of running underneath that center forward. Finding the spaces you see close to occupy the two center backs, and he just does a wonderful job, but there's no ball pressure there. It's an easy turn. Omar Gonzalez nowhere, and that is a perfect technique strike right there. Tim Howard is going to watch the replay and want that near post back on this one.
Good strike, good feeling for him. Max Kruse, his first goal for Germany and only his second cap. Good signing for Borussia Mönchengladbach from Freiburg, who did ever so well this season and have made the Europa League for next campaign. Thanks in no small part. Miroslav Klose's coming off. He's not going to break Gerd Muller's record today. Not seen an awful lot of him. And on comes Nikolai Müller from Mainz, who usually plays wide. One or two players called Müller who haven't been half bad for Germany over the years.
No.
Germany just pushed the door open a little. It's very late, only 10 minutes or so left. Now Wolscheid is in some trouble again and protests his innocence again. Who, me? Altidore getting a big round of applause. He's got a great goal today, set up another one. I think he'll be feeling it's a day of redemption.
Well, and I think the play of Jozy Altidore will be the most important thing to come out of this friendly. Going into 3 huge World Cup qualifiers, you want him scoring goals. What a game.
Terence Boyd is the player who came on to replace him, by the way. The young striker is doing well in Austria. Germany get another one now. It could set up a bit of a nervy finish. Sidney Sam cutting it on that left foot. Oh, and there's 4-3. Draxler scored it. All change here. That's his first goal for Germany as well.
Oh, and this will drive any coach crazy. You're up 4-1. It's little things defending. We saw Cruise's goal. It's not good enough from Omar Gonzalez. But this shot from Sidney Sam, there's a rebound. Ball watching, Draxler wide open coming in. That's a simple finish, and now we got a ball game.
Now the neutrals here don't want their money back. The problem is there aren't that many neutrals around. And for the second time in 4 days, the United States have conceded 3 at home. Just takes the gloss off it a bit. And what's happening here? Here's Sam, very much involved. Cuts it back across the face of goal. Oh, and Havedes nearly turned it in after Podolski's effort. The United States rocking and reeling about.
They're on the ropes
now.
right now, Ian. And part of that is the rhythm is taken out of the game with multiple subs, but still
the same central defenders, still the same right back. Changed the left back. Bradley's still out there. Jermaine Jones is still out there. Now it becomes a question of, can the USA hold on to this? I think Germany feel they might be able to play the get out of jail card here, you know. They were involved in an amazing World Cup qualifier earlier on in the campaign. The only game they haven't won was against Sweden. They led 4-0 and the game ended 4-4. Astonishing match. Germany themselves have come back from 4-1 down here in the last few moments.
Well, what made the U.S. so good in the first half was how compact they were from Josie Altidore to Omar Gonzalez. Right now, there's 55 yards from Omar Gonzalez to Terrence Boyd.
They'll go forward. Podolski around the corner, none too convincing. It's a good piece of play that by Brad Evans. Good day for him so far. Jones, look at this, Eddie Johnson, why don't you have a shot, they're saying. He does too. On the rebound, Boyd was looking for his first American goal. I think there are some very weary limbs out there, you know, in this heat.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You can look at Brad Evans, Gonzalez, Beasley right now. They're exhausted. But on the other hand, June 7th, it's not going to be that chilly in Jamaica, and so it's still a good test.
Worth reminding ourselves, though, Jamaica do have to play a game before that against Mexico at home, which will probably take a bit out of them. It's a definite advantage for the USA, the fact that that game is on the 4th. Draxler again, causing problems down that side. Nikolai Muller looking to make a nuisance of himself. Omar Gonzalez gets it away. And now there are one or two chewed fingernails. The kudos of a win over Germany would be something special for the United States, but it's far from assured now. Draxler takes it. Howard punched away only to the lively Sydney Sam. Reinouts to Wojciech. Draxler coming inside, he wants another one. They've got to close him down there, they can't just let him line up a shot. So many in there and away by Castillo in the nick of time. But you'd have to say Germany at the moment look like scoring with every attack. It does have the feeling, this, of an end of season friendly, doesn't it? You'd have to say that. End of European season, I should say. Podolski towards Sam. He's giving Castillo a fair bit of problems. He's very fleet-footed. He goes past him like he wasn't there and gets the shot wrong. Well, he really had Castillo on toast there, Sam.
Well, and Castillo's looking at Jermaine Jones and Matt Beasley for support here, but that's all on Castillo. That is the second or third time in a row that it's been very easy for Sam to get by him.
After this game at 4:30 Eastern today on ESPN News, that's ESPN News, the US women's team in action against Canada. And that game is getting a big build-up, of course. One player who won't be in the lineup is Hope Solo, the famed goalkeeper who's coming back from injury and was at that big gala dinner we've been telling you about last night. Spoke to Mia Hamm as well. You saw her earlier on. Brandy Chastain, they were all there. Except Julie Foudy, who was on duty for ESPN. Far away from here.
She was there in spirit.
Yes. Got a lot of mentions. Jones, still looking fitter and stronger than most. Boyd, first touch rather let him down. Second touch wasn't half bad. Will be a corner kick, and that'll allow the United States a little respite, and they'll take their time over this and maybe just check that the ball is still round and that the grass is still growing before taking it.
Well, so much so that Beasler, Omar Gonzalez, Michael Bradley, Edgar Castillo, no one's going forward.
I can't believe they're not going to take a short one here, really.
Well, Jurgen's standing up here asking for Edgar Castillo to slide over.
I was going to say.
I don't think so.
No, they're going to keep the ball in play. Germany can get that, maybe. Oh, Jermaine Jones header, tipped over by Ter Stegen.
Well, that's why they didn't take a short corner. I just feel that Brad Davis's left foot is going to be huge in World Cup qualifying, whether it's off the bench or from the beginning. He's so dangerous on set pieces.
There's another delivery from him. Dempsey was attacking it, but now the Germans do have it. They're running out of time if they want to claw this back.
That is such a good play from Jermaine Jones, though, Ian.
Just to break it all up.
Well, Jermaine Jones challenges the head ball inside the 18, and then he's right there to clean the play up. Huge play.
I'm told there will be 2 minutes of added time at the end. It has been a bit of a thriller here. Hope you're enjoying it at home. Remember, the United States don't have a win against Germany since 1999. The Germans have won the last 3 meetings. Podolski deflected, could have gone anywhere. Want that final whistle now, the United States team, to make it a happy 100th birthday. Nobody wants their money back here.
Why do you?
Nobody. 7 goals. US 4-3 to the good. Germany running out of time, but here's Aogo to play it in. The dangerous Cruiser's in there. Nikolai Muller goes down in the box. Oh, and there's a volley straight at Howard. They think that's a penalty. The Germans are appealing, and for a moment I wondered if that was going to be given. The game is very, very stretched. Terence Boyd.
But that is inexperience right there. And Clint Dempsey's telling him right now. Terence Boyd, that ball needs to go to the corner to waste time.
I think you call it end-to-end, don't you? Cruiser. Vesterman, who's already on the score sheet's gone out to play. That'll give the US a precious few seconds. Now then, was there a penalty shout in here?
Watch this little touch from Nikolai Muller. It's this little touch right here, and you see Matt Beasler come in. Nah, that's no penalty for me.
In fact,
no penalty.
There was almost a case for a yellow card for Nikolai Muller for diving there, because that was a fresh air challenge, wasn't it?
Well, I feel if he doesn't dive, he probably has a shot on goal.
If it happens, this will be only the 3rd time that the US have beaten a top 2 ranked team with FIFA. Brazil in '98, Spain at the Confederations Cup in 2009. But the win isn't secure yet. Hovedes plays it in there. Now they've got the chance to get it out of harm's way. Brad Evans does that. It's celebrated almost like a goal by the huge crowd here at the RFK Stadium. Nearly time for that final whistle. One last chance made towards Feston, and Howard can take that, and that might be that.
That should be it.
Still doesn't blow, the Mexican referee. Now he does. Happy 100 USA, a famous win. And what a moment for Jürgen Klinsmann against his old mate, Jürgen Löw. A victory over his home nation. And a famous win for the US as well. In a thriller by 4 goals to 3 over Germany, with 2 goals for Clint Dempsey. Mind you, it was very, very hard work in the last 10 minutes. Your verdict, quickly, Taylor.
We talked about morale, and they got a result. 4-3, yeah, there are a couple concerns, but it's all about June 7th in Jamaica, and they're now going there with morale in the right spot.
So there it is, a 7-goal seesaw game here. Lots and lots to talk about with Alexi Lalas and Casey Keller and Bob Lee. How's your hearts, fellas?
It was touch and go, especially, Ian, for the last 10 minutes, as Germany showed indeed that they are Germany. But the United States, the 4-goal outburst, only the second time the USA have scored 4 goals against a FIFA top 10 team. They had a 4-0 victory over Mexico back in 1995. I believe that was right here, was that not? In this stadium. Tony Arena had a tremendous match that day. Questions answered, optimism bolstered heading into Jamaica. Not Germany's A team. All right, we stated, we put it to the side. But with the United States, with Josie Altidore coming out early, and the United States, as you talked about, tactically setting the tone, showed what they could recover from that bad performance on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think when this team goes back into the locker room and over the next few days, when they look at this, obviously looking ahead to the qualifier, they're going to say a couple things. Number one, the confidence to dictate specific tactical strategies. That's important. They went out there, they high pressured, they made Germany play in a certain way. That's important, not just because it's Germany, but the ability to go out there and have that confidence to do that. The tandem of Bradley and Jones in the middle, you cannot overstate how important they are to this team. And thirdly, to have Josie Altidore have a good game, because yes, you want him scoring, but the reality is there is nobody else. All right, there is no cavalry coming when it comes to a guy up top. You want Josie Altidore playing well and being involved in the game coming up in these qualifiers, and this is a great game to have him do that leading into next week.
Well, you take it as a huge positive, but there's still little issues that they have to address. Tighter marking on set pieces, little bit of 1-2, staying with guys, keeping them wide. Too many times if you see a guy just shuffle a guy inside and let him take a shot. That stuff can't happen. Keep it tight, keep him in front of you, and get the ball up the field.
But it was Josie Altidore opening the scoring for the United States. 31 goals in the Dutch First Division. This time when Josie comes home, it turns out just all right. He's standing by with Monica.
Josie, that goal that you scored today is what we call a statement goal. What statement do you think you made with that beauty of a volley?
Oh, I don't think I did anything really different. I thought just we played better. You know, we were more fluid. You know, and I don't think it was our best game, but I thought it was just better. We have very good players. And it's one thing to say it, but today we showed it a little bit. Still not for 90 minutes, but it was a lot better than the past few games.
And what do you think's factored into the fact that the USA offense has generated 6 goals against 2 really tough opponents these last 2 games?
Like I said, I think we all believe in ourselves. We all know we have the talent, but we have to show the supporters. We have to show the fans that, you know, it's a team to believe in. I thought today we did it in a lot of spurts, and we created a lot of good chances. So we have to learn how to do this game in and game out for 90 minutes.
Thanks for your time, Josie.
His team in the Netherlands won the Dutch Cup, 31 goals in league and cup competition. A goal and just as impressively an assist today on Clint Dempsey's first goal of the game in the 16th minute. A 7-goal barrage, and the United States with a 4-3 friendly victory over the #2 team in the world. Much more to come from RFK in just a moment.